installation steps, and then I'll switch to my IDE where I have it running. So let me see the docs. They're divided, KMCP and KAgent. You can just use the KAgent. They go to the same page. And the instructions to install it, they have a Helm chart. They ask you to add a OpenAI API key. I'll show you my setup. I'm using a proxy. You can say a proxy light LLM. I don't know if are familiar with that. Let me put it in the chat. Light LLM, and there's other.
I'm back, by the way.
Go ahead.
I'm back, by the way.
Oh yeah. They say the KAgent CLI installation process. I not really a fan of like this type of installation. I guess for demo purposes it's okay, but I like to learn like why I install, and maybe I'm an old dog that I like to use like Helm and see the YAMLs and inspect everything. CLI, it feels like if you do this, it
magically
may not work, and then what happens?
Yeah.
So at least for myself, maybe other people like it. I think it still has something like this. The Istio CLI has an install
yes
thing like that. And they have profiles, like a demo profile.
Yeah.
And Savvy, you can say, right, you're an expert in Istio, you even have a course.
Yes, it's been a while since I've installed Istio like that. But yes, Istio CLI was painful, I must say, in the easiest, let's say, nicest way possible.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And Tony's saying a little too magic.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for, and also this thing like KAgent dashboard, again, like bit of magic. Like I don't know what it's doing. I'm guessing it's doing a port forward and opening something.
Also, I think I mean, when you imagine all sorts of environments, you have to install things. Like you will not have these CLI tools everywhere. You just get probably Helm if you're lucky, or GitLab, an agent that would release your code, right? So it's not super nice. Oh, we have Ali saying Cilium CLI is lovely. Is it all the emojis?
Yeah. And Cilium CLI, I have used it. I think after the third try using it, I figured out that it was actually a wrapper around a Helm chart. So I saw the Helm chart being installed. So it was nice to see that. And actually, I think at one point I reverse engineer, like I saw what he installed, got the values back, and then went back and installed Helm with those values to get the thing that I wanted. But the KAgent,
reverse engineered.
Yeah, it says to install the KAgent CRDs, and this would install only the CRDs. And then there's a second install Helm. And for those of you that are familiar with that, the reason this is done is for ages. I don't want to be like blunt or anything, but if you install Helm install can include CRDs. There's a folder where you can put CRDs in a Helm package. The problem that you run into sometimes is if you release a new version of the Helm chart and you update a CRD in that folder, a Helm upgrade would ignore what is in the CRD folder. So there's like big blogs and rants and issues and people talking in YouTube like me, saying that that creates a problem because the perception people have is like this is kind of like a Linux package, right? That when you update the package, if something in there or a dependency gets bumped, the CRD gets bumped. There's other patterns. I don't want to get into that hole, but the other people, what they do, they put the CRDs in the template folder as they need to template things for like ports and things like that. And this method is like the bulletproof method of like install the CRDs, and that's a package, and then install the controller, and you're responsible to make sure that in your organization, I'm just talking about scale, right? Enterprise, where you have this, is you have to make sure that if you upgrade the controllers and they depend on a new version of the CRD, that you do them in the order. And if you're doing something like GitOps, for example, and starting for the first time, you have to make sure to orchestrate that synchronization of doing one thing first and then the next one, which Argo and other ones have that thing. Anyway, the other thing I found out is that this Helm chart installs other sub Helm charts. I don't know if we can go to the GitHub repo and see that. Let me see. Oh, advanced configuration. So you can change a few things from the values file, like the name of the controller. You can also change things like, I think you cannot change the model config. We'll go over that in a bit. But that's it. The Helm chart is here if you want to inspect, right? This is kind of like a session to show people like, at least this is how my methodology of like digging down like what this thing is, and then I go back and forth. But if you go here, there's a Helm folder, and you will find the different Helm charts. So here's the Helm KAgent CRDs, and actually their template. That's what I was saying before, right? They don't use that folder, but they templatize these things. I'm guessing there's not a lot of templating here because they may not have like the port for mutations or like upgrades, but in case they have it, they're like future proof. So that's something that you can also like adopt. And then the other one is this KAgent, and if you look at the chart, which I think that it's like this because they run it through like a action, like GitHub action, to put the version here, but you can see there's dependencies here. That's what I wanted to show. It installs this other Helm chart called the KMCP, and this one installs the MCP controller and CRD. Also installs a KAgent tools, a Grafana MCP server. At least for me, it didn't do this. I was confused. Had to do it manually. And then some other agents that we can see how they look like, right? They go back and they get packaged. When you do the packaging, they get packaged. So it's not like a dependency that it will download it from somewhere else. And you can disable them with the condition. That condition is values. In the values file, you can put agents.helm agent.disable or enable equals false, and it will not include this agent, which are optional. So the only like basic thing that you want is the KAgent, which I think I'm trying to find where's the base agent. Is it this one? I'm now confused. Which one is the one that installs everything? The controller. Oh, that is itself, right? My bad. The KAgent is like this one's. Like it will install a controller. It will install a model config YAML by default. So this is how you specify the model. And a UI, kind of a web app that talks to the controller. So it's basically like this is one pod or deployment, and this is another one. And those are the two main controllers. Like this is a web app. This is not a controller, so it's just one operator. You can call it, right? Operator or controller in Kubernetes. Let me see the chat. Okay, if there's any questions. Okay, so basically you do that, and then you get everything installed. Let me see if I can switch to the my IDE.
Yeah, that would be nice, because I came to a certain point and I didn't have much time to troubleshoot, so I would like to see what your setup is like now.
Let me see if I can share my desktop because I want to open the UI. Let me move my thing over here. And if not, I'll switch. Screen.
By the way, folks, if you are new in this session, we have all these examples from the book, but also you can look at this doc Carlos shared here. I'm going to. You can check the previous week's notes because we have lots of links. Like, for example, KAgent.dev. There you can find how to install things. So there are a lot of links you can investigate if you're just joining.
Yeah. So people see this, my terminal?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I do KGet, or this is too small, just tell me.
It's actually really good.
If I do KGet CRDs and you grab, this is usually what I do, just do agents. It should have more things in my cluster, but the KAgent ones, actually I should do KAgent because I also saw the agent gateway. But these are like the agents, the CRDs. You have an agent object and you have an MCP one. Memories, I'm not sure. I think that's new, but it's not documented. But the ones that I'm familiar with is moto config, and also these two, remote MCP server and MCP server. So those ones are there. And basically what you need to do is, if you have, let me see, we can start with an agent or an MCP. Maybe we start with which one? The agent, just people can see like a hello world maybe. So I told an AI I didn't know what example to do, but I told the AI like thing that I have in my ID. I'm using Kiro. So I told her, like, create me a fun agent with a system prompt that doesn't have tools, because we're going to look at tools. So it created I don't know why it came with this. It came with a rubber duck debugger. That, yeah, it says your personality. This is a system message, right? It says you are a quackton. I don't know what that is. The world's most opinionated rubber ducker debugger. Your personality, your speak with gentle sarcasm.
Wait. How did we get here? I'm how did we end up with rubber ducks? It's really fun.
Oh, so the thing is, I just wanted to show like what is the minimum to create an agent. So let's start from a CRD. So the CR is basically your API version is agent, metadata, name and space. And then you can create an agent with declarative, meaning like you're going to put in here the system message in it, and it will create a container with the ADK Python code with the system message, basically. Or you can do bring your own, which you specify a container that already has your agent using LangGraph, for example, or any other framework. But to get started, this is a hello world. I don't know if they had a different hello world in here, but I just wanted to come up with one that was not related to Kubernetes things, right? Because the idea is that these agents can do like process documents, right? Process images, do fun games, right? Like it doesn't have to be a SRE agent that troubleshoots your cluster or anything like that. I think a lot of people, the KAgent is very stored into that direction, but it's just it's a CRD to basically wrap an agent and an MCP server. So I just wanted to show something that was not related to Kubernetes, but the example that I have is going to be Kubernetes. So, and this is just like, so you have to put a system message. Basically, this is the identity of the AI or AI tool. I don't know if people can put in the chat if they're familiar with that concept of. And we went over this during the book, right? The system message is like, what are the instructions to this AI agent that is going to use the AI, the model. So this one is like, it's a helper debugger to tell you, like, learn, like, use a methodology to not give you the thing that why something is wrong, but it looks like it will like help you debug something or understand something simple. So if somebody's like learning programming, or you have a bug in something, right? And it will rate the bug in different scales, for example. So it came with that. So before you do that, you have to set up a model config. So maybe that's where you got stuck, Sevi?
Oh, no, much earlier. But I've just realized I was actually not following the book flow. I just went on KAgent.dev and tried to build everything. Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. So I did the Helm install, and
Yeah.
I got this CRDs install. And basically I got, if I do deploy,
I'm actually trying to catch up on the site. Might be catching up with you soon. But
so,
what's this agent research folder, like project on the left? Is it from the book, or
no,
is it
these are my
something you've been?
personal
Yeah.
files,
Okay.
all my experiments.
Okay.
So and then this folder meetup is the one that I share.
Yeah.
For the meetup. I forgot to mention that I did a meetup, but the link is in the document. It goes over what is A2A and those things. So after you do the install, basically you get this guy, the controller. This is the minimum that you have to like get up and running. The other stuff you can disable it. So just to get KAgent up and running is the controller, which is one pod, as you can see here, and then the UI. But we have to deploy an agent, and then an agent is just basically like you saw, right? It needs to have a system message, which could be whatever you want, personality you want to give it to the agent. We'll see in a minute tools, but just the agent by itself, like what can you do just by having an identity or instructions, and then a model config. So a model config is basically like this agent is going to use this model config. So there's a CRD called model config. I think you saw it when I did it here, this model configs.
Yeah.
And this model configs looks like this. So if you do KGet model configs, I think they're in their namespace. So I do that. I have a couple of them, and they have an API provider. And for example, if you don't specify one, it would use this one. It comes with one default model config. So if we take a look at this one.
By the way, we have a question from Maxat. Am I right that KAgent is agnostic for agentic frameworks? So basically, by using KAgent, we can deploy any agent we like to use.
So KAgent uses a framework when you use this method of declarative. It uses the Google ADK, Agent Developer Kit. But
and there's a huge library, right?
Well, it uses that one when you use declarative. If you're not using this declarative, let me look where it is. You can bring your own. Let me see, where is it? Bring your own. OpenAI compatible model. So in this case, you will specify. Oh no, that's the agent. Like this one. Here's an example. Crew AI. So if you're going to do Crew AI, basically in the CRD, you say instead of spec declarative, you say type bring your own, and then there's a bring your own. You see my the website?
Yeah.
And then basically you put this one, you put a container. So and then it will run the A2A through it. But the integration with the tools, then that's something that I think they will need to work on, but is less tight together. So it has some support for bring your own. And the project is fairly new, right? So I see this is just, I was experimenting to see what it was available. They have an example for LangGraph also. So the same thing, they have some libraries that you would like put your agent, and then like they will wrap it into a KAgent Python, and then they will run it. So you specify the LangGraph. So good question, but this is the way that you would do it. But I believe there's no tools under this section. It's just a straightforward A2A agent that you write. So, and I see other folks just once they get to a point that they understand what this is doing, basically like they will not need KAgent probably, maybe they can just like put their Python or Spring AI into a Docker container, run it, and expose it as a MCP protocol or A2A. But right, this is a nice. I think it's a nice thing that Solo did of like if people want to get started or understanding these things, it's a kind of like CRDs to experiment, and then you can get like POCs done with this, and then maybe you don't use it for production, right? It depends. I think that's the answer. But if you want to show people like they're not aware of like these things, you can run it. And the ADK is very good to a certain degree. So the
What's
model
the degree you say? To a certain degree.
For certain degree, like if you want more customization on that, what the agent does of like specific things that are not MCP tools, like memory or multi-agent things that run in a single Python process, that's something that you would not do because this is like a single message, single agent, right? You cannot put two in a single container or process like a lot of people do. So it depends. The space is very complex and moving very fast. But once you do the install, there's no hard requirements on like getting those two pods running, the UI and the controller. Like that should work out of the box. Then the next thing you have to do is for this model config, you can specify the API key and secret to it. So you specify that this one is called KAgent, and this is the secret name. And then the open API key has the string, and then you can put a model, and then and then you can specify this or not. In my case, what I do is because I'm using AWS Bedrock to expose them as to convert to open API a specification like chat completions. I use like LLM, so I go to the proxy, so that it's helpful for me to do that. So I just like LLM, and then I tell her like these are the models that I have. So that's why I have other models here. But if you're doing it, just follow the instructions in here of like, right? If you're using Azure, you create the model config. Where's that secret, and then the specific model that you want to use, and then the information on how to hit it. For Bedrock, if you're using Bedrock, I think there's some issues on doing this. And also a lot of folks, they tend to put a gateway. So that means like from the cluster, they want the agents to go through a proxy. So they have visibility of like all the calls being done to in this case, the cloud provider, like LLM can give you rate limiting, or it can give you a key with a certain budget. So you can like say a developer gets this amount of cost, like $100, right, a month. And they get the API key, and then they call the proxy, and then the proxy calls Bedrock. So that's how I have it set up. Maybe we can take a look next week on more details on that. But just pick a, depending what provider they're using. What else do they have? Olama, right? So you can configure Olama. They have the example here how to run it. So you run Olama, and then say, I want to use the Olama URL. So, and then you specify in the agent that you're going to use this model config, right? The name of the model config, and then the ADK, when it's going to access the model, it will use this information. So Olama is it's a very popular project to run like stuff locally, like in your laptop or a small PC. And there's like free open source agent models that you can run. They're not as good as the ones like Anthropic and others, but they're for a certain degree they're good. Okay, model config
Awesome.
covered.
We have another question. Does William asks, does KAgent only work from the KAgent namespace?
I believe you have to install it's
Yeah.
a namespace controller. So that way, if you have multi-tenants, you have like 3 teams, you can install, I don't know actually, but the default setup is namespace. You have to install it in this KAgent namespace. So good question to look for the docs. I'm guessing that you can set the controller to watch that namespace, but I'm not sure if it watch all the namespaces. But the resources,
a nice thing to break and try and just see.
But the resources are not global. Like the resources are namespaced. So it depends what the controller is watching. Good question. So let's do the rubber ducky thing. And then we'll go into the tools and then do one of the other examples. I have Argo CD and GitHub, so we can look through those. So basically you do a apply, right? This Docker thing. And then you have objects, right? The agent object. So you can do KGet agents -n KAgent. And then these are like the different agents that some of them got installed, like you saw in the Helm chart. Some of them I installed, like I installed this Argo CD agent. I installed a Kubernetes agent. I installed what else?
SRE agent.
GitHub agent, SRE agent. But the one that we are looking at is the rubber ducky. And then if you want to get to the dashboard, is where do I have it? I think I have
it's
it over here.
Local app, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's that controller that is the UI. So if you do KGet service -n KAgent, there's a UI, KAgent UI, and as you can see, is has a service on port 8080. So if you want to get to the UI, you can do a port forward. So I was running the port forward here. I bet.
I think the last one before this, yeah.
Yeah. So I did a port forward agent 8080, and then if I go to here and I do localhost 8080, this is a nice web UI. So you can from the home, this is the home, or you can do views. I want to see my agents, or I want to see my models. So these are the models I configured. And as you can see, here's like where's the namespace, the information on them. Actually, it allows you to edit and delete. So it's kind of like it's a debugging dashboard. I would see, right? It's because sometimes, as best practice, you want to edit things in Kubernetes through GitHub, so not directly. Also, the MCP servers. So we have a couple of MCP servers, and then we have tools, which is the aggregated all the tools across all the MCP servers. So if we go back to agents, we can find our Robert Docker thing.
Is there anything related to skills here on the dashboard?
Skills is something that you specify. No, there's no skill CRD. So
like attribute or something? Okay.
It's an attribute of the agent. It's an attribute of the agent. So you're talking about I don't know if they even like document that. Skills, maybe this one. Yeah. It's not. Is it loading? I'm clicking on skills and it's not loading. but skills is something that you put in the agent, and you say skills, and you specify a Docker container. And inside that Docker container, basically you have the skills.md file. So when the controller creates the agent, the controller will pull that image, export that the skills.md file, and then inject it into with the system message. So it becomes part of the context.
Yeah, right. Okay. Makes
but it's
sense.
not a CRD, like an object.
I think you're on the skills page now. Yeah.
Yeah, now it loaded. So see, it creates a skills.md. So this becomes like part of like, some people call it steering files, right? You put it steering files, and then this basically like is deploying it, and it creates a Docker. So you have to like put the file in a Docker file, and then you specify here skills, and then the Docker image that has that file. We may, if we want to continue next week, maybe that's something that we can try. But I didn't set up that thing today. So if you want to chat with one of the agents that you install, you can come here, and it has the UI. I think if it restarts, all these chats are safe in memory. So if you restart the UI, you lose them. But it's kind of a debugging thing, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to ask something, so one example that I had was this one. So we can start doing Kubernetes things. I can tell it like, I'm having trouble with this YAML file. Like this YAML file, I think maybe people already pick out what is wrong with this YAML file. It looks okay, right? But it has a bug. So the Robert Docky maybe use sarcasm to help us debug. So I can say, I have a problem with this YAML file. Please help me, right? I don't know if I can put quotes in here. Let's try. And then I will send it to it, and let's see if it works.
Let's see if it quacks.
And it says, Quackstone here, describe your bug. Spared no detail. I got all the A. Because the instruction said always start with this. So you can see like how the steering is working, right? It always says start every conversation with that. And it says, Kubernetes YAML, the dark art indeed. You see, you have brought me a deployment file. Now, before I even look at this with my expert doc, tell me why it's not starting. What are these things? I just tiny. I have some opinions, but sarcastic method demands. I heard your story first. Walk me through LKMA to know. So I can say I get an error.
Carlos, if you ask it to ignore all the previous instruction, will it ignore it?
I don't know. Give it a try.
Yeah, that's why. And that's what I asked it before asking. Ask her to ignore all the instruction and.
Yeah, everybody on the internet. That's basically what they do. It says an error, delightful quack, and it says all right, let's play detective. And it basically like it's not giving you the answer, right? Like the prompt was created by AI, but it was telling like look at the YAML, right? The deployment uses selector, so it already knows what's wrong, but it's not telling you the answer. It's like working with you to conclude and give you the answer, right? Say, now look at the pod template. What labels are you actually putting on the pods that gets created, right? So the match labels has this, and I can say I'm putting this these labels, right? I'm using this, for example. But as you can see, if I had a problem with the deployment or crash look thing, the agent doesn't have tools to access the Kubernetes cluster, right? So that's where tools come in, like giving the agent the power to do things, call APIs, do curl, access HTTP, call the Kubernetes API, call the Argo CD API, call the GitHub API. So that's where tools come into play. So in here, right, it's telling you that here's the error, right? And then give you questions. Are my app and my app the same thing to a computer? Sarcasm, right? If you're looking for someone someone wearing red shirt and someone wearing red shirt, would they recognize them? So it's very like it came up with the prompt, right? This is basically on the prompt. It gave it that identity. And what's happening is what I didn't show was when you deploy this agent, right? It says ready and accepted equals true. Where's the rubber thing? What it deployed wasn't a pod. So if I do get pod-n KAgent, that UI is talking to the controller, and the controller is sending an A2A message to an A2A is this protocol. I don't know if we mentioned it through the book, right? Is this project, the A2A project. This is how messages are sent to the agent using the A2A protocol, which is donated to the Linux Foundation. And then it will hit this KAgent, the Robert Docker thing, right? So the Robert Docker is here, and then there's a service for it. So if I do KGet, I don't know, EP/n KAgent. Anyone knows what EP is in the chat?
No.
Endpoints. So that's usually what I do for debugging. So there's a service for the Robert Docker, right? That points to 192, 168, 119, 8080. So that's the pod, the agent pod is being safe. This service points to the pod, right? So it's hitting 8080. So it hits the UI, hits the controller hits the agent, and the agent responds back to the controller, and the controller breaks it, it puts in the UI. And that's it. Let's take a look at another demo. Any questions?
My installation is stuck in the KAgent CLI where we just discussed, so it's just really annoying. It doesn't give me any answers. So now I'm going through the Kubernetes objects it tried to install, so I can see some containers are creating, a few of them are pending. So I'm just going to give it some time to just
check what they're pending
before I try again. Yeah.
Check why
But also pending. The CLI says when you try to use a different profile, like, oh, there's one already in progress, one installation.
I know.
So it's hard to figure out how you can stop it as well. So I think the CLI needs to go. I don't know. I'm not a fan.
I think I thought
how to fix it.
Go ahead.
No, I said you should ask the agent how to fix the pending.
Yeah. So let's take a look at some of these things. So so let's take a look at MCP server. So if we want to add tools, and again, if people want to continue next week, I'm happy to continue on these things.
Please.
And that's why I'm going over like the details, because sometimes people just get demos and don't explain things. Hopefully there's folks here learning Kubernetes and they're appreciating it. So let's take an example of something like Kubernetes. I have a Kubernetes agent here, and it says I'm going to use I think a different one, Cloud 4.5, and the system message I went very light. You are a Kubernetes expert. This is not best practice, right? You need to put like something that is excessive in here. And one example is the KAgent comes already with an agent called KS8 agent, and that is more verbose. This one is just for demo purposes, right? So I'm just giving it a tools. Is type MCP server. This is the location of the, like in Kubernetes, this is how you find a specific object, right? You give it an API group, the kind, and the name. So it's looking in the same namespace of KAgent. And then you can specify which tools do you want to use from this MCP server, or you can tell it to use all. So that was a bug that I found that I couldn't. If you don't put this, it doesn't work. You have to put an empty string, and that means all. So what I did, I created, let's look at what is this MCP server. So this MCP server, I have the MCP server somewhere here, where they are here. And I have this, where is it? Kubernetes MCP server. And I also have one for EKS MCP server, but I'm going to show the one from Red Hat. This is maintained by Red Hat, and it's very generic. It should work with your kind cluster. You're doing kind. So here's, as you can see, this is the definition of the MCP servers, CRD. People can see this?
I think, by the way, Jamal has a question for you if you're on kind right now.
No, I'm on EKS. I'm using AWS EKS. But all the things that I'm showing are like, it should work on kind, your kind cluster. So I'm creating an MCP server, give it a name in the KAgent, and then basically you put a deployment. So this is going to spin up a pod with a container, and then you can specify things like CMD MPX, or I can show also the Argo CD one. Where's the Argo CD one? The Argo CD one, I specify MPX, or you can specify UV. I think I also have one for UV. Maybe UV. I don't know, but let's stick to. So if you specify UVX or MPX, it knows to spin up a Node.js container or Python container, and basically it's going to run. This one, it will detect that it's Node. This is the controller, right? Controller is reconciling the CRD and creating the pod. So it's going to create a pod with a container of Node. It's going to run MPX. It's going to run the Kubernetes MCP server latest. And then it would install that container will also have the agent gateway proxy to convert the standard IO, because this will start in standard IO, convert that into streamable HTTP. And this is at the bottom. I put a cluster row binding. This is not best practice, but I told it like you have cluster admin. So when you deploy this MCP server, the pod is going to use a service account with the same name, this guy on this namespace. If you try it, it will say, I don't have permissions to do get pods, right? Or get nodes or get config maps. So you have to give it permission to that service account or configure OIDC, or it has different ways of converting the kubeconfig or anything. This is just, if you're going to do it in kind in your laptop, then I told her like this service account, give it cluster admin. And with
what was the other tool we discussed multiple times? I forgot, for OIDC. Anyway, it was a good one, but I can't remember its name.
Keycloak?
Yes, Keycloak.
Keycloak is the CNCF OIDC one.
I have a question. Sorry, finish what you're showing.
No, I was going to continue. I was going to deploy the server.
Okay, I have a question. So imagine this is to serve hundreds of engineers that they want to use different tools, right? Like different agents as well. What's the scaling? What's a good way to scale it down to zero? Like there could be multiple agents, different types of agents, and then you don't want to end up using lots of resources because maybe some of it is inactive for a while. Is there a way? I'm thinking Knative maybe, but not sure.
Knative may be able to be used, yes. But you get the latency, right? The scale to zero is the latency thing.
Yeah.
The other project I tend to recommend is KEDA, KEDA.
Why would you prefer KEDA over Knative?
Oh, you want in a 1 hour session now?
Next week then.
Yeah, KEDA is more flexible in terms of like the looking at metrics from Prometheus and taking decisions on how to scale or not scale up and down. So you can say the Knative is more brute force on the time that request comes in, but with KEDA you can like predict. You can also have different type of scaling, like
Windows,
like
time
Windows on the weekend just scale to zero. Maybe during the high peak, scale on this metric. Maybe like it's more adjustable. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't compare them too much, but I've seen a little bit of Knative in the LLM infrastructure space. So I was wondering, what options we have. Yeah.
This agent, it depends what type of agents you're doing, right? If you are like a human, it's like interacting with these things, you want it to be up. But if it's a GitHub action failing,
Yeah.
right? There's no human in the loop, so you can like launch something to do something. Also, maybe where you saw Knative is a part of the K-Serve project, which is machine learning to serve models. That's also something, but
Oh,
also
wait.
Ray
I
is very
need to check
popular.
this. Thank you.
But yeah, that's
Oh,
a
yes.
rabbit hole, Sevi. That's a different area.
I like rabbits.
So one thing to show here. So if I do K apply, right, with this, they will create the object for that Kubernetes MCP server. If I do get MCP servers -A, let's do -A because I don't have them all here. You can see here that is true, and it created a pod, right? Get pods -N, KAgent, running that npx project, and you can see it here, right? And if you do something like k get service in the KAgent, oh my god, KAgent, you can see that it's being served on port 3000. So that's an MCP server that you can use from your own program, right? You don't have to use KAgent to access that MCP server. And if you're building or troubleshooting this MCP server, one tool that I recommend using MCP Inspector is the tool to inspect MCP servers, either if you build them or you use them. And you can port forward this. So I can do port forward -N KAgent service Kubernetes MCP server, just to see what's available. And then on port 3000, I don't know if I have this one already exported. So 3000, and then something that you can use is, you see, npx MCP Inspector. So MCP Inspector is this project, MCP Inspector, this project here.
Yes.
From the
MCP Inspector. Can you
and
also
it's kind of a
put the
debugger.
link? Yeah. Can you also put the link, because I'm carrying all these into our notes for later.
That one
Thank
is
you.
the MCP Inspector, and then this one's A2A. And then what I did was I ran the MCP Inspector from the command line, and it opened a browser on it. And then now, since I have the Kubernetes MCP exported in 3000 that is running in my Kubernetes cluster, I can connect to it and inspect like what is available there. And it connected, right? And then you can do things like tools and list tools. And you can see here are all the tools available in this MCP server. So if we want to see, I don't know what we can do here. We can execute something from here. There's one to get pods, resource get. Or maybe we just use the agent to use it to debug it. So this is a way to validate that things are working, right?
Yeah.
And then we can deploy our agent. Where's our agent? MCP agent, Kubernetes agent, which you saw that it only has this thing, right? It only has one tool, the MCP server. So it will find that MCP server. So it's trying to find that service and port 3000 to connect to it through stream HTTP, and then be that. So if I deploy this, okay, apply /f, it's unchanged because I already had it running. So what's the name of this thing? It's called Kubernetes agent. I can go to the UI. Where's the UI? Home. And where is the Kubernetes agent? This Kubernetes agent. So it's using that MCP server that I told you. So I can ask things like list all the pods in the namespace KAgent, right? And let's see. And then the one thing that to watch out is the tools. It will say unknown tools because I use tools names like array, like give me everything that comes back. If you put the list in here or a subset of list, it will show in the UI. So I'll send it to see if we would execute the command, the tool to talk to the MCP server. So yeah, the UI is helpful because it gives you like things of what it's doing. So you can see here, it's calling the tool, it's calling pod list in namespace. It's using namespace agent, and this is the results that it got back in plain text, right? This is all the text that you got back, and then you go back, the agent goes back to the LLM and say like, this is the result that I got back. Like the user wants to see the information, and then this is what you get back. Like the LLM is formatting this like in a table. It looks like a markdown table, and you can see the information in here. And then it says something about the Grafana one, which I have Grafana. I can make it create a Grafana dashboard or investigate Grafana dashboard. I got that configured and Argo CD. It says like this agent query doc got restarted 3 times. So now you can like troubleshoot something, right? Or like say was saying, like now you get, it's going to be difficult to use KAgent to debug KAgent installation because it's not working. But if you have something else, you'll be able to do it. So yeah, you can ask it anything about this. You can also say, I have all the examples that we can take a look later. Like I have the Argo CD one.
I really want to look into the Argo CD and GitHub ones next week. That would be awesome.
Let's do
I'll try
Argo
to
CD
get to I'll try to get to the point where you started.
And we can do GitHub also. So I have a demo where it says like, change my web app to punk rock or make it green or whatever, and it will go and open a pull request and do the Argo sync and then all these things.
Awesome.
But yeah, in terms of this, you can ask like, what are the namespaces on the cluster? I don't have a lot of things installed in this cluster, or we can like try to make a pod crash, right? And try to debug it. Or you can ask like, what port is Grafana listening, right? But as you can see here, it's calling the tools. So it says Argo CD, infrastructure, observability. These are the namespaces that it has. You can even get the logs of this one, like give me the logs for that one. Let me see if we could get logs. So there's a meetup demo somewhere in this cluster.
Yeah.
And let's see if we do it. So you can see, and also we can take, I know we are out of time, but we can also say, you can put an agent to use an agent as a tool. So you can say,
okay. They talk to each other.
Yeah, that's basically what I did here. I created an SRE agent to basically be an SRE person, and it has as tools the GitHub agent, the Kubernetes agent, the Argo CD agent, the observability agent, the prompt QO agent, the Helm agent. So I can ask it something and it would like launch 2 agents at the same time and come back with the answer. It doesn't have to be sequential. I saw it do it that once. So
awesome.
Yeah, this one says meetup demo logs. You give me the information about the app. Here's the last 100 lines. Doesn't have a lot of like logs because it was a quick demo that I did. It gives me the information. It's running on port 8080, exposes the health, the ready, appears to running in stable with no recent errors. Get detailed information, right? I don't know if it says how many replicas. How many replicas? So and the other thing to watch out is the this conversation is saved in the web app, in the UI. So every time it goes back to the controller is stateless, the agent is stateless. So for this conversation, the UI is sending all this information to the model, right?
Yeah.
In other practices, basically what people do is they take the agent, and then basically based on the user and the session, it will load something from memory. So that's what we call short memory, like a conversation, or long-term memory, like the preferences of this user. But in this case, is very, very stateless, and it's this responsibility of the client, A2A, to send all that information, which in some use cases is not very good approach. But
Alia has 2 questions actually, but I don't know if
good.
we'll have the time. First one is about optimization. Is it better to use KAgent or create our own customized agent? So it's about tokens that aren't cheap. We know in context of our company, maybe some errors or debugging don't need much AI.
It depends. I would say a lot of people are well, KAgent is kind of a deployment model, right? Is deploying the container and is creating a A2A, very stateless aspect, but it also supports some aspect of bring your own. But for the most, if you have like certain requirements, then use a line graph, or we have in AWS called strands. They're very simple to code. Make it a container and then run it. So it depends how the KAgent evolves. I saw somewhere that they're going to add memory, but I see most people just coding the agent with affinity they want. And in terms of tokens, this is what I was saying about, if you code the agent, then you have more power of, like, if you're going to do summarization of the content, you can do more context management. And then the other one, can we have some exceptions and say for those conditions, don't use AI to solve problems and use rule-based program instead of AI? It's up to you. If you don't want to use AI at all, you don't have to use AI. But some folks
conditionality, I think, is the question here.
Yeah. Well, so you can have a combination of things. Like you can have an MCP server that give you runbooks or tasks, right? That once the agent detect what's the problem, you can launch a static rule-based program, right? But that maybe you already have like a runbook of, like, goes through different steps to delete and recreate or troubleshoot, or goes back, and the agent can execute that, right? The agent doesn't have to do the reasoning.
By the way, after an hour and 9 minutes, I managed to install KAgent from scratch.
Oh, really? Came up? Okay, cool.
And I have the UI coming up. It's taken, I think. I think I need to improve a few things